Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mini Break. I'm Gary Preston with my special co-host for today, Anna Edelman. Today's guest is from India and self-made. Along with having a great tennis career, both as a player and coach, he is one of the top real estate brokers in New York City. He is also co-owner of McCarran Tennis Center. Ladies and gentlemen, Chintan Trivedi.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Woo! We're here. Hey, Chintan.
Hello, Gary and Anna. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Very good. Thank you
Think
for having me on mini break.
it's a pleasure. I've actually wanted this to happen for some time, but given everything going on, it's been a bit challenging. So, to start off, what have you been doing besides yoga about every 2 times a week and things like that? How are things going with your company?
It's been challenging for everybody, including us. But one of the things we're trying to do it during this time is communicate more than ever in all the companies. Actually, we fortunate enough to have three different companies and over 100 people's livelihood. So we knew that we may not be able to support all the people's livelihood, but we be able to support communication in this tough time and connection. So we invested on the money wise where we can and extended the employment as long as we could and their livelihood financially, but we definitely extended our moral investment into them much more than we did before in last quarter. I think that was the most important thing looking back. We think we did, and we wish we could have done more even based on the connections we made and the closeness we found among our associates.
Well, I think in comparison to other places, you guys handled everything as best as you could, given the fact you know what teaching pros go through. I mean, you know the ins and outs. Anna's, understands it as well. I'm sure there are plenty of other people that are struggling. So just the fact you were in communication with us was fantastic. But with your family and even your other businesses, how has that worked out for you? Like being home more often, and because I know your schedule is quite. Anna? What's the appropriate
You
word?
guys have no idea.
I'm
His day-to-day basis and his phone, you guys have no idea. He's nonstop, so he's a good inspiration for all of us.
this is
Some
true.
is by design and some is by choice, and
Hmm
some have no choice. But I adore it, and I welcome it because the same attention to clients and busyness and able to try to do more has brought us where we are. So I'm thankful for the opportunity actually, and very humbling experience for last quarter for everybody. But what we did it is as a family we decided to make some commitments on health and spending time together wise. Once we were forced to, and second, the schooling being out allowed us to with the children and stuff. And so I think since they were born, we spend the most amount of time in any given quarter was the last quarter, and that allowed us to get to know each other a little more, come even closer than we were, and we were more organized. With the remote communication, there's a lot of time which goes in the travel and doing things other ways was newfound time. So we invested in ourselves, we invested into our family and children, and certainly business wise, when we look back, we actually had a best quarter in 2 out of 3 businesses in the entire 18 years of professional career on those businesses on
Wow.
those past quarters. So because we were able to attend each scenario very closely, had more time for it, and we were available to work and adapt quickly to these remote showings and remote accessing and remote management of a client's needs. Tennis business we couldn't do that because physically we needed a place to play, and do it. But two out of three businesses did better than they ever did in last 18 years for us. And tennis business, we were able to hold out as long as we can. And we have some great news which have come in, and we can't wait to release them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, we are working on the big announcement on the tennis front, and hopefully tomorrow or Friday we'll have a big announcements or multiple announcements. One is about the McCarran Tennis Center. Other one is about the new center we are in a process of acquiring and when we are opening and starting. So there are some exciting times are ahead of us, and we are looking forward to it.
Awesome. Just to let you know, this is going to be on Facebook and YouTube.
That's
Just
great. I
so
don't go on those things, so
now,
I won't be
now
able to like it.
I deal with the social media with McCarran, and we're working on getting that up. But now we got to get your personal Instagram and Facebook up and going to get you
That's definite.
even more. So my first thing I want to do is talk about where you're from. Your story is quite unique from the conversations I've had with you and Anna. Wanted to get a breakdown of where you come from, your background, why you chose tennis. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but first off, let's start with the province that you're originally from in India and give us the backstory on that.
So I was born in Mumbai. Most people know Mumbai, which used to be Bombay, India. And my family moved when I was 5 years old to the place called Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad, India. This comes from a state of Gujarat, so it's like coming from New York, and then New York City, which is like Ahmedabad, which is the main city in Gujarat. So I do come from the town called Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. Um Spent between 5 and 17 growing up as a normal child, playing sports, doing things, trying to find myself. In a 12th grade, um, which is a big in India, like SATs here, like before you go to college, 12th grade determines where you go to college and what you do in India. As a young 17 years old, you hang out after you go to school and, you with your friends and stuff. And one of our common friend would always leave to go home early, 3 times a week, and because he would play tennis every other day, and he was doing that for 10 years since he was 7. So when he would be leaving, being a young, um, full of energy adult, almost adult, I would always make a comment. What are you doing? Who plays tennis? And I
Wait,
didn't even know the game of.
before we continue, and I just now realized that that's my fault. We don't want to give away the 2 truths and a lie.
Correct.
So if you
Correct.
can work around that,
Right.
you've
So
done
yeah.
I'll give the 2 truths and a lie.
So
That's my fault. I'll take
in
responsibility
any
for that.
event, I always joke. Gandhi comes from the same town, Ahmedabad, as I was. He started his assault march against British Empire from my town and went to Mumbai, and where he protested that how could you tax salt, which is a minimum living requirement for people's food, particularly Indian food, and then make money off it in our own country. So that is the reason. So I always joke growing up that my life is like an open book. So but anyway, because tennis started through the friend challenge, and I said that I can beat you, and my friend was playing for 10 years 3 times a week. But being a young adult, I just made a foolish comment. So when in the summer after 12th grade, my father asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, hey, I want to play tennis. And my father like, tennis, what is that? Who plays tennis? I don't even know who plays tennis. So it started that way. My father said to me that I will help you pay for the membership to use the tennis club, but cannot pay for the racket or any other things. And that's the only thing I'll do that for you because you ask. We started with that, and you know, I was athlete already, but not tennis. So I learned how to play against the wall, rented the videos of tennis cassettes and a VCR because we didn't have a TV back home, and saw how people play and swung racket was given by a same friend who I made a bet with, don a little out of shape racket, and played against the wall and figured out how to keep the ball in play against the wall. And about 6.5 weeks into it, we played a set and I beat him. And
That was
not knowing what I've done, my friend never played tennis from that day to today. After just quit.
he's
Got
still
so
your
offended.
friend.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Never played, and I begged him every time I see him. I bring rackets to him. I apologize for being arrogant at 17 and
Uh,
talking like that, but he never played to it. He took it to such a deep heart that he quit tennis, and here I am. My proven challenge was over, and I don't know what to do with it.
I
And
don't
I
blame him.
continue, and I continue to play with other people and hang out. And when I finished 3 months, I went to the manager and said, "Look, I can't afford to continue to play either, and I don't even know how to play well, except push the ball and tap the ball over the serve." And that's how the career started. And manager says, "But you are very athletic, and everybody likes you. Would you physically train them, other people and students? And in return, I'll let you play at the club after everybody leaves." You know, so that's how my tennis playing career started, and I would practice a lot. Fell in love with the game. By the time I was 19, I started winning, matches and quarterfinals, semifinals, but would not break through. And that's where I was about 19 and a half. Chica came in my life, my life partner and business partner and companion, and um, I found the missing link in my confidence and the way I looked at things, and it helped me. And I together we started working on becoming better as a people and as a tennis player. And she played college tennis, and I played state championship college tennis, number one, was top 20 in the men's in the country. But the pressure was too much in where we were, so I had to find my way out of India, where tennis is appreciated on a different level and different scale.
Hmm.
So there's a tennis player who runs a big academies all over the world called Peter Barwash International. He had a camp and the resort in Canada, and some friends I used to play practice with back home, they would go there summertime and they work as a counselor or the teachers, coaches. So
So, Chintan, if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet Chica? Did you
on a
meet her?
tennis court, it
So
was
what
on a
happened?
tennis court.
Aww.
Uh, I was a assistant coach for the evening program, and I was a main coach for the morning program. So
Mm.
between 17 and 19, I turned to excel in my skills. And the coach who was a main coach, who I would help out with his students and stuff, in return he would let me play tennis, never had a time to teach me though, because his times were too precious and he had a business. And I couldn't afford a lesson, private or attention lesson.
Hmm.
So I figured out a way to watch videos. So I would go to British Library in the town, borrow a video, rent a VCR and a TV, watch it. And the nighttime in India, the roofs are flat, and between the attached homes, you have a flat roof and a dividing wall, which is roughly the tennis net height, 3 feet. So people don't jump over. So I would imagine and do shadow swing and practice at nights. And there was a TV show started coming out, and I would go to my friends out and bring my mom's homemade bread, and in return watch Jesse Owens and the tennis. That is his life story, or a 3 episode, which actually helped me change my life because the adversity was too great for Jesse Owens in Olympics and do what he did. So I said, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And so I would watch that 9 to 10. I would go out at 10 o'clock and train in sand fields to work on my physics. Sleep at 11:30, wake up at again at 5 o'clock, sleep in the afternoon 2 hours, and I really turned my life around tennis. But tennis has given me everything pretty much I have, so I'm always thankful for it.
I would love you to tell the story about how you used to string your rackets, because I can't even string rackets right now. I don't know how Anna can do it with the nail or the claw she has going on. So
I get it done. Doesn't matter.
So I mean, the tennis stringing started because, as we discussed, my um, it was my choice to be a tennis player. So I had to support myself. So I had to find a ways while I'm playing, I'm traveling to generate income. So my father's friend has a family in New Jersey. And of course, if you're a tennis player, you know how to read a tennis magazine, which
Mm.
is a worldwide population, a popular publication. So I used to get that from British Library, and in the back of the page you have a classifieds. So
Mm.
I here see Clipper mat stringing machine for $149
Wow.
in 1993, marketed, brand new. So I calculated the amount of money back then, dollar to rupees. I saved up money because I would teach people, work with them, and have money saved, but not enough. So I asked my uncles to say, he asked me that his brother is coming, cousin from New Jersey, would you want something? And he was hoping I asked for shoes or a t-shirt. I said, can you bring me a stringing machine?
Oh
And I
my
gave him a clipper mat, and he sent it to them, I guess, a phone number, and they ordered, and they brought it actually. He actually carried it as a handbag and brought it. So it's
wow.
a hand stringing machine with the weights, and you set up the angle of um, tension you want, and you let it go. And when it stabilizes, you use the hand clamps to string it. So that's how I got it, and I borrowed $100 out of 150 from him and pay him back with the interest because he was a loan guy in India. He would lend money for interest return. So
Hmm.
that's how my first investment in tennis and income started, where I could start stringing rackets. And I used to string. It was a very busy club with about 300 people playing tennis on a daily basis. So I would get enough rackets to support my travel, paid the money back off, and all that stuff. I was just about 19 and a half. The coach, who was the main coach there for about 12 years, he got a threat from his father that if you don't join the family business, we will cut you off from the family business and inheritance. And he was the fourth of the youngest of fourth brother. So he came to me as a Chintan, everybody likes you, you work out and exercise with them. I must stop like now to teach. Could you cover until they find a new coach? So that's how my tennis teaching career started, from being a physical fitness coach and helping them to teach. And my first negotiated pay was back then 600 rupees, which is in today's value $8 a month.
So
Wow.
what does that get you in India?
So, but I was thankful.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
happy that I actually got to play now. I have access to all the new balls. I generate the fee for the club, but I can play as much as I want, and I am getting paid for it, which before I didn't have access to. So for me, it was like somebody gave me a motorcycle, gave me a gas, and gave me a world visa to travel. For me, it
Mhm.
was like open up the whole world. So I was very thankful and happy for it. My coach used to teach on a one tennis court in a different segment, 18 kids, because there was only one tennis court was assigned for the coaching. I took that one tennis court, and after 14 months, 85 kids on one tennis court teaching. So I would rotate them in the groups of three different groups and stations
Wow.
over three different time frames. So I would start at, in India, most of the time the daylight breaks at 5:30. So I would start at 5:45 to 7, 7 to 8:15, and 8:15 to 9:30, three different batches. And in each batch, I would have three different groups. One would dedicate to the wall practice area, one would for the exercises for fitness, and one on tennis court taking lessons. And four or five will take tennis lessons. Another four or five would be doing the shadow swings on the side and doing things needed to get ready to play. And in India, fortunately, at those time, you had ball boy system where actually the people would be ball boy on your court if you are a coach. So they would pick up a one bucket of ball before they're even empty. So you
Wow.
can move the people around very good. So I used to run about 85 people business, and the club was so excited that they never look for any other coach after. And I got a from 700, 600 rupees, which is $8 to 750. I ended up at a 5,000 rupees, which is back then was $150 a month income, a big deal in India. Because
That's
in
awesome.
1993, the doctors were making $300 in India a month.
By the way, guys, we have one of our viewers, Chip Hines. Hi, Chip. I just wanted to say hello to him. He never
Chip.
watched the show. He's very, very loyal. He sees us quite a bit. He's actually really involved in GLTA events and USTA events on the East Coast. He's, I believe, originally in Pittsburgh, I want to say. But we still have that time. But go ahead, Chintan. Sorry about that. Continue.
No, so I mean, that's how we started it. And then that went on. But it was very hard for me to teach people, train them, give all I had, and then train for myself. So I was still trying to do that and find that balance. My day would usually start at 5. I had a bicycle which I would ride every day, and one thing I knew that I can afford expensive trainings and stuff, but I could run, I could bike, I could do steps. So I chose the more cardio exercises, routines, and I literally found happiness and a tremendous success doing that. At one point, um, I was a second into the speed, agility, and athleticism, and bodybuilding. May not be able to say now, but for the state of Gujarat with 50 million people in my weight class, and I had a 3.9 body fat, which is,
And you
they
have
said I think the LeBron has, yeah. So
you
it
have
was a
you have no
tremendous success that I found in those period, and that allowed me to be successful in tennis and things I did, back then, right? Because you really rise to the personal, and it was not for public; it was mostly personally. I really wanted to be where I can be most, as a person, and that's how it started. And Chika came in my life, and our struggle continued. Um,
Go ahead. Tell
we
them about your routine, the daily routine.
I mean, because as
The
I said, I
push-ups.
had limited access to media. We didn't have a TV.
Mm-hmm.
The TV came in our life after I came to North America and went back, and
Mm-hmm.
able to actually bring some fund
Mm.
back to buy such amenity. So there
Right.
was no TV, and but as I said, I lived 7 kilometers away from the club,
Mm-hmm.
so I would ride bike 4 times a day to the club. Then I'll go to gym one, which is 5 kilometers, so 5 and 5 10. So I would roughly have 38 kilometers, which is roughly 25 miles bike every day riding. So it was not by choice or design, but I didn't have any choice. That was the means of transportation I had. So I would ride that much bike. But to be as best as I could be as an elite athlete, I used to watch Boris Becker video, his coach Tyriak training him in the jungle and doing things. So I figured we don't have jungles in India because there's too many people, but I can go in the stadium, which was a nearby my tennis court, a cricket stadium. So I would do steps, I would do jump ropes, I would do push-ups, I would do sit-ups, and it was quite intense because I didn't have access to the clubs and the money for those to join health clubs those times. And then slowly I started joining later, but when I was able to support it. So it was 1,000 sit-ups a day, 300 push-ups a day, 25 miles bike. You know what I mean? And it was just a
No big deal.
complete.
No,
I mean, it was a routine which was needed to survive. That kind of a thing.
amazing.
Back in the days. So,
where did bodybuilding come in?
well, because of there was a very little body fat going on, and I they used to jokingly, all my friends used to, who admire Bruce Lee, used to call me Sealy, like a Bruce Lee, Chintan's, Sealy. And they always used to say, because, I used to have as I said, literally no, 3.9% body fat. So, all muscle and lot of, and I didn't know, but people would come in, like the student will come and they would ask me, says, Chintan sir, can you lift your shirt? I want to show my mom your abs. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
That's
But
awkward.
but I'm saying it to you like it was just jokingly started, and people say, why did you participate? So so I then joined the gym, and I met a guy who was a Mr. India in bodybuilding, and
Wow.
he said, Chintan, I can really bulk you up, and you can compete nationally if you want. And I said, no, because I can't affect that to tennis, but can I compete in a lightweight, and
Mhm.
can I compete for just muscular proposition? And he said, yes. So he made me participate, and I was, and one of the things was very difficult growing up. I come from a family, very modest. My mother is a teacher, was a teacher. My father was a government officer, and there was no concept of sports in family. So it was very difficult for them to even fathom what am I doing here, but they were not spending any, so it was okay in that manner. So what we happen is the coach said, Chintan, I submitted in a competition your form. And I said, but I don't know what to do. So he showed me some videos, and so I participated. So I came in third out of 36 participants in that weight class. So in that competition, my college athletic teacher was there, just to support other people. He said, "You go to my college and you're not competing from my college." So then he made me compete from the college on tennis and also in the bodybuilding. So now I was the second in my weight class, and they all kept saying, "Hey, Chintan, if you listen to us, you'll be first." But they were taking enhancing stuff to muscular enhancement and this and that, and I just wanted to be purely based on home diet, bananas, and natural ingredients.
A
So
lot of bananas. A lot of bananas
Huh?
today.
Lot of, yes, yes, yes.
so
18 to 20 a day usually, yeah, but
Chintan, how did that affect your tennis?
well, it it affected me because you still need to get a little bit more cuts, and tennis players are not as cut as well. But I was always focusing on running and endurance rather than shape, right? Because I knew that as much as you need for bodybuilding shape, you lose flexibility, and I was a big proponent of physique, but more like stamina and strength rather than show. So, I mean, my favorite tennis players back in this Juan Carlos Ferrero, Mosquito, can be able to play 5 hours straight if you need to. And my game of play was designed on baseline, and you have to kill me to beat me. You know what I mean? I'm here and play. You have to play 5 hours, 4 hours if you really want to beat me. So that was a big strength of mine because of endurance was the one I brought, not the skills, for a long time to the table.
Oh, okay. Where did the transition of coming here start to the
So
United
Chica, my wife and business partner, life partner now, was back then my desired girlfriend. And in India is a very conservative country, so
Mhm.
we would date, but we would date knowingly that we like each other. But we'd go in the movies with 18 people, we go to the places, but there was never be a personal meetings. But whenever we have a chance to talk, two of us together sit down, she would say that we would never happen, and I would say why, because in India it is back then it was almost diminished, but there was still some portion of them was alive in the parents' mind that you marry into your own caste. And I'm Brahmin, so it starts like Brahmin, then Vaishya, means Shudra, these people who do business. So Brahmin are knowledgeable people, priest, and advisors to king. Then Shudra, who is business people and do traders, and then army people and who fight for soldiers and stuff. And then unfortunately, back in the old system, they used to call untouchables, working class, and usually the back in the days, which is a shame looking back, even thought process was untouchables they used to call. So Chica was a second tier, and we were Brahmins actually. So I thought she's upgrading it, marrying me, going up one class. But they were very religious and conservative within their family. So they had to marry within their own community, and in fact even own cluster of villages where the family even came from, the roots. So it was very religious, very conservative. Here I'm a tennis pro, mostly outgoing and doing things, and so she said it's never going to happen. So she not knowingly said, but if you go out of the country, it might change the perception of you as a tennis pro, because they think tennis pro differently here, since they pay you now $150 a month. you might make a little more money and people might have a different found respect for you. So that's what started the journey to go to Canada as a tennis counselor pro in a camp. And next year I did well, so they invited me to be a head pro for the resort they ran under Peter Barbash. Year after, I was a assistant director to the main coach, and that's where I found uh, relationships who brought me into US. And I had two choices. One was working with Chrissy Abbott in Boca Raton, and back then Chrissy was the first time starting to go into the teaching, and she joined her hands with Robert Siguso and Carling Bassett. Robert Siguso was one of the top doubles players back home, um, what do you say, like Max Mirny kind of a level, a famous doubles player. And Carlin Bassett was like beautiful Canadian, like the one who plays right now on the tour. What's the name?
Yard.
Uh, Bishar, right? Like, so she was known for her beauty and elegance, Canadian, in those days. So those two got married and they opened this academy called Siguso Bassett Training Center. Chris Abbott went in to the year, joined, and named it Abbott Siguso Bassett Training Center. So the first year she was looking for the coaches and counselor. So she's invited me to work in her academy as a coach. So I had a choice. So I went there, I tried it. After a few months, they offered me a beautiful job, but it was a long commitment, 8 years to go through it. And I had a job offer for 2 years commitment in New York City. And I was 20, 23, 24 years old. So I made the right choice. I picked the more vibrant, humming, and a not forgiving city, and it was great.
What
And
about
that's how I came here.
what about the real estate aspect? Because I know
The-
we worked at the same company. You were there much longer than I was. TCR,
Yeah.
the Dale. You were there. You were in
So
real.
my TCR days were about almost 9 years when I worked there. I joined as a head pro and I was a director of tennis. I became an assistant general manager. We found a sleepaway camp together because we were growing, and the owner says to me, if you want to continue to grow, you bring value to me and I'll work with you. So I found a sleepaway. I found a resort which was going out of business, family resort for a long time in Catskills, and I put together a deal to buy them. But I did all the real estate person work, all the financial work, and somebody just signed it. And I ran it. We built it with other partners' help, and we did that for 2 years, and we sold it for a profit. And so in 2003 we did that, and I was still at TCR working, but we were growing too fast, and I was a little too ambitious. So we started doing other things, and we wanted to do more, and the owner was not ready for it. So we had to part ways at one point, which is about almost 16 years ago now. And at that point, I realized it that doesn't matter how good I could be on the tennis court, how nice of a person I people think I am or I could be. It matters what you know in business and in life, and not knowing is your fault. It's not anybody else's fault. Not knowing is your fault, not anybody's. So we decided, me and my wife at that point, that we're going to build a parallel career to allow ourselves a freedom from employment and financial strength to dream and hopefully go behind those dreams. So we started investing time into us. My wife, Chika Pavitra, took my young born 6-month old to India while I study for real estate and also for banking. And the reason banking came in a place is I wanted to learn finance because I thought I got screwed financially over the 9 years, the way I made the deal, immigration and partnership wise. And again, it was my fault because I didn't know what I was agreeing to it partnership wise and was doing it. So that was nobody's fault but mine. So there was a JP Morgan Chase were hiring bankers back then to train them and put them through the system of licensing process, and then you can become a banker. So I had my accounts there. So the manager said, Chintan, what are you doing these days? Says, I'm looking, I'm becoming a realtor, but I'm looking for a substantial, consistent job income because I have a child and a wife. And for health insurance and those purposes, I need a job which can do that. So he said, we're not paying as well, but there's a program and you're kind of old to go into banking because you have to have accounting or finance background. And most people are usually doing at 22 to 24. You're almost 30 years old. So I don't know. They'll take it, but I'll put your name into it. And if they pick you, they give me $500 referral bonus as a manager. Would you be okay? I'm like, sure. So they invited me, and the manager invited me, and they liked me. So they put me in touch with district manager of that time for the New York area. And Christine invited me and said, Chintan, I just wanted to see who you are because there's nothing here that says accounting or finance, but you're here for a job in banking. And I just wanted to know who this person is and has an audacity to apply for a financial banking job. And little I know, but the tennis has helped me become fearless and also helped me assess risk all the time better. So I told Christine, I said, Christine, now that you wasted my time, let me tell you who you're dealing with. And I went her to tell her story about how we started with very few kids and small program to selling products which are $80 or $10 or $800 and sell enough of them to make millions of dollars for the club. So if anything, you have a guy who speaks multiple languages, sells, works 60, 70 hours a week, and here to work for you if you put him to the right training program. So she said, but we can't do that. We are big bank JP Morgan. We can't spend money and and if it doesn't work out and I don't see it, how do you pass financial exams? I said, there are 3 exams. Can I take them? If I take one and if I don't pass, don't hire me. He said, no, we can't do that. It's a big company. So I said, how about if I pay for it? So she said, look, I reserve a right to hire you, but I have to put you through the entire program after. So we made a deal. I went through it. My wife went to India with my daughter, who was just about 9 months old then. And I went to work, every morning, go to JP Morgan Chase building in Lower Manhattan, One Chase Manhattan Plaza, study from the time I woke up to my eyes cannot read anymore. And I passed all 3 exams into 4.5 weeks when the program was for 6 months. So they didn't know what to do with me.
Wow.
So they started bouncing me around and they couldn't find me a place to put in because the jobs openings were not there. So they gave me my first 3 weeks paid vacation to travel because my brother-in-law was getting married. My wife was in India already. So we went there, we did those things and we came back. And then I started working for JP Morgan and doing part-time real estate. Back then, JP Morgan did not allow dual conflict of interest positions. I got an exception for it because Christine knew that, if I can pass those exams, I can do things and stick to it. So I signed a non-compete disclosure and I stuck to it. And I developed parallel both careers for about 4.5 to 5 years. And JP Morgan took me from being a banker to the small business banker to a mortgage specialist to financial advisor. But I was still missing more in my life. So, and I hated the guy who came with a suit and a Porsche to sell me his investment on behalf of JP Morgan Asset Management. And I would sell them in the retail branch. So I said, if he can do it, why can't I do it? So I again ruffled our life together, asked my wife, would she allow me to chase a dream to really, truly work in a private equity and learn financial system and create products. And my wife has a good habit of saying yes to me when she feels I'm on the right track. We already then had 2 children. One was 4 months old and one was almost 4-year-old daughter. I took another risk and we quit our good paying financial advisory job 3 blocks from my house with parking at the branch, parking at the home, and a good 6-figure income, respectable, suit and a tie, and go in a branch and play tennis and golf with your clients and enjoy their career. Instead of that, we went to Lower Manhattan, work in a private equity firm, took a pay cuts, learned the business, and built from there. And in 1 year after 4 promotion, I was a director of sales in the company. And the market collapsed in 2008. So company made me fire people I worked with it, pick up more load of work, and they moved to Princeton, New Jersey. and it was very difficult for me to travel with a newborn 4-year-old daughter and put such time requiring a certain financial hardship in the marketplace. So we would do it, but it was 2 hours journey each way. I did it as long as I could, and company was kind enough to agree for me to continue as long as they could, and I could, and then we part our ways in January of 2009. But my real estate career was at already a part-time basis running for 5 years, 4 years now. We looked at our finances, we looked at the climate in the market, and we decided to invest our energies into our own business and do full-time real estate. And when most people were running away from it, we ran towards it. And then market collapsed again in March of 2009. So everybody was laughing at us, including friends who were like, Chintan, you were making a great six-figure income and had a job, and company wanted you so badly. You let the job go when people can hold on to the jobs and working. But we were committed. Chika started helping me, my wife, more. She was working in the law firm, but we decided that it wasn't in our best interest to have kids in the daycare and work in the law firm, spend the commute time, money, stress, and the net dollar was not as effective. If you work as a team, she helps me with the family raising kids and marketing and stuff with my business, and I can do the showings and other stuff. We can build a career. And we did. 2009 was the best financial year I had personally in my life. And every year after that, double. And he's continued to do that till this year. So, in that proportion. So,
Well,
if you made $10 in 2009, you made $20 in 2010, 40 in 2011, 80 in 2012, and it continues to date. Our vertical 100% growth.
and that's great with the success you've had. My question for you is, if you had it to do over again, I hate hypothetical questions like that. Would you have changed anything? Because I think everyone
Yes,
goes back and wishes they could
yes,
and coulda, shoulda, woulda.
100%. I would have played more tennis as a player and found a different way to achieve my life partner success and goal, because I thought that I had to go to a lot of teaching route and building a money paying career little too soon. Then my dream and desire wanted me to be a player. It almost lasted until my real estate caught up to the point at 36, 37. Then I say, you know what? It's okay to let my dream of player being to be a player go. But it was flame was almost burning that long.
Would you
So, and it
still
was
have
too
gone
bright.
into banking and real estate, or would you have
No,
changed?
what I would have done it is I would have played tennis as best as I could
Hmm.
and not slow down around 20, but given till 25, 26, 27 chance.
More tournaments and stuff, right?
More tournaments, more travel, invest more time. And
Okay.
I wasn't afraid of failing in tennis. I
Hmm.
was afraid of losing my wife and companion if I did that and do that wrong, because our challenges were greater. She was young, I was young, and
Right.
socially we had compression in such a way that I had to find a way to unite through finding a success earlier in life.
Hmm.
So I traded for you know money and income versus passion and
It's
and
not
joy.
over. You still have time to play some tournaments.
No, no, no.
We
I'm
spoke
trying.
about this.
As you can see, I'm
You can
trying.
still
Right.
do
So you
it.
can see.
You can
Yeah,
do
it's not. But I'm saying it to you. So those are the reasons. But the real estate has given me a tremendous base of opportunities coming across people, other than finances, money, deal making ability, structuring things, and also given me a flexibility and freedom of things.
it. Hmm.
And I can say because of the my partner, her commitment, her sacrifices, we are able to, and her support, we are able to make decisions almost 3 times, which are career defining, 160, I mean 180-degree turns.
Hmm.
And most people are forced to do them once in their life, choose to do them once in life, but we had to do them and we agreed to do them 3 times. And that kind of opened up a little bit of a world to us, not fear, in obstacles. We actually felt that it was almost criminal not to do it if you're given an opportunity to take those chances
Right.
and not fit the mold. So that was the scenario.
Well, that I'm glad you were able to achieve those milestones. A lot of people don't know what you had to deal with, and I think it's also refreshing the fact that you took your partner into consideration, because this world can be incredibly selfish, and I can't
He
imagine.
was the best. He had no choice.
Yeah,
Not also that, she truly has invested in entire operation and career equal
Mm-hmm.
energy and sacrifices. Everybody plays the different role, but luckily we got lucky. She's lefty, I'm righty. We
No,
stayed in our lane on our side of the courts, and we coexisted on the same court,
you guys
which
make
is
an
tough.
excellent team.
Yeah, and it was tough for many years since it's hard to be around it all the time and find the common grounds.
Oh yeah.
And we did that, and it was challenging for us as well. For the first year, but
Mm-hmm.
last 10 years has been the best decade of our 26 years journey together with me and my wife. So
well, Chintan, going to backpedal a little bit on this. You talked about your journey in tennis. Who did you like on tour, and what was your?
growing up, Pete Sampras was my idol.
Oh yeah.
And Jim Courier for his work ethics. I still follow Jim to date. His recent article just came out a few days ago on a tennis ATP2.com, that to be extraordinary, you have to do extreme things. And I too believe in the stories. Like Federer, he's doing extreme things. Managing balance between family, business, life, and tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Djokovic is doing the same thing, and Nadal sacrifices almost his personal life and career to be what he had to be until last year, until he got married. So
Mm-hmm.
you do have to do extraordinary to get extraordinary things in life. You have to do extreme things in your life, and I think most people agree to that on a conceptual basis, but just for some reason they're afraid in their own belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every human is given, unless there's a physical impediment or challenges or I shouldn't say issues which they cannot control because of their own challenges. If you have a normal functioning things going on for you, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect others to do? And that is important for a message to people. And I always find very difficult, that people don't just start with that basic thing, believing in themselves first. So
Mm-hmm.
then the world can start believing around them. And it
Right.
takes time, but it's
Mm-hmm.
worth the journey.
So you just said a name a minute ago, Djokovic. And speaking of what's recently happened with the scandal with him and the COVID-19, I mean, you've been in this for a long time. What do you think of something like what's going on with him and the
Well,
not so?
here, I mean, see, the disease has so many different twists and turns since we identified it has happened 7, 8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Between where it originated, how it spread, not spread. People are divided, just like global warming and other issues. I truly believe that Djokovic has done what he has done with the good intentions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And isolation is not the best option human has. Otherwise, we'll still be in the caves as
Mm-hmm.
a humankind. So, yes, there is a fear. Yes, there is a real damages people and lives and society is suffering. But my personal understanding for COVID is that what I'm hearing, it is constantly evolving. So the strain they were working on for medicine, which was found in January, February, and March, has evolved into a different strain right now, and different thing. So there are brilliant minds all over the world at work at this thing. I can do my part: wear a mask, provide sanitation and services, employ good practices, demand performance from associate staff, employees, partners, and do myself. You know, do myself. It's very important to do that myself. So I go running every day, but I wear a mask. We provide mask in the office. We try to stay among people and not mix with too many people, so it stays among us, and knowing that they are also healthy and all. So we haven't thrown a big party in 5 months together for anything. We are restraining ourselves on practices we need to be. So, but I think the fear is never a good ending to any solution. No suppression, right or wrong, lasts long. It just never does. And if history has taught us anything, that some succeeded suppressing longer, but never succeeded at suppressing forever. So my thought process is, progression is the only way to get out of this thing. Second is education, and third is discipline. So and I think we will.
Yeah.
I think we will. I think we'll be at a very different place in 6 to 8 months, 9 months, because the world cannot tolerate such isolation and situation where the entire human knowledge and adaptiveness is changing. So I think we'll go back to it. Hopefully, the only thing I agree with Trump is that when it does recover, it's going to be like the tsunami. It's going to be backward the same way. Yes, some of the habits will change, but I think in our case we found beautiful things in these 4 months, and we like to continue for rest of our lives. Is each other, found passion for things we like, clear goals, and commitment to improvement, because we had to, and we knew that for survival, if it got worse, we also had to be fitter than we were. And because if your immune system is stronger, if you're less physical problems, then it is less effective on you as a virus or as a disease. So, you know, and I'm not taking away from people who have no choices, chronic illnesses or all that stuff, because they have no choice. They are on those path, either by choice or either by genetics or either by accident. So, and my sympathy goes to them, and my heart goes to them. But those who have choices and do not make the right one, I hold them accountable for them.
Well,
Those choices.
that's a really good point. And honestly, if people were to speak how you have spoken and choosing the right words, and being sensitive towards everyone, I think things would be much smoother than what they are. Because I think underlying, we all want the same thing, but there's an undertone of respect. I think that's one thing that at this point, the climate we're in the country is not, on point. So, I agree with you on a lot of counts with that. But not switching gears, but kind of switching gears, MTC is going to be opening soon. Now, this is your chance to kind of tell everyone or give them an idea of what we're looking to put in place. Or I know some things are under wraps right now because we can't talk about it, but shed some light on that.
We can talk about it. Just that we wanted to make sure that the announcement for what's happening with MTC and associated businesses is consistently released at the same time for public. For internally, of course, some of you know what's going on, but MTC is a labor of love. As I always wanted to have our own tennis center, and in 2012 the opportunity came to bid. And the time we were bidding, there was John McEnroe was bidding, Nick Bolletry was bidding, Gaudio was bidding, Stadium Tennis Court, people were bidding. There were about 8 to 9 bidders. We bid and we got, for 3 reasons. We asked the park department all the time, our partners who awarded us, and they say, you guys were more creative than all other proposal. You're using your own money and no banks, and you have a tremendous experience you brought and a passion to the table. For those 3 reasons, we awarded you. And we feel that we proved them right by turning McCarran Tennis Center, which we opened in 2017 January, in less than 3 years, 2020 January, we were profitable in a year 2. We returned all our investors' funds in first 2.5 years, and we are in a process of acquiring and establishing additional 3 centers within 50 miles of McCarran Tennis Center in next year and a half. We have agreements approved and contracts are done. We have final agreements are in place, and we are excited about the next chapter of MTC and tennis with our associate, with our customers, with our investors, with our participant in our life. So there are a lot of exciting things are coming up. Personally, we had the best decade of my life, last decade, and professionally and personally, we think we're going to have a better decade between 2020 and 2030, and we are looking forward to it.
And that's under the 5-year mark for starting a business and getting it off the ground. So that's incredible that you're able, not 1, 2, but 3 other facilities. That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
in regards to, obviously we're taking the necessary steps and precautions with MTC. What changes do you think will happen during lessons and things like that? I know
Oh,
we touched
thank
on
you for asking. That's an important question.
Mhm.
Well, there is a guideline set by governor and in application from Parks Department, who are our partners in this, which we are getting it soon, which will be practice at MTC. So safe distancing, wiping down the touch areas which are frequently used, having an outside desk and an inside desk to not have many people gather inside, um, not allowing any more than 3 people per court at MTC. One of the exciting things we are doing for public, and if this goes to public, they will know. We are finalizing it, and we are offering in our proposal, and I think is accepted, but we'll release it soon, where public will have access to MTC indoor tennis court for coming months the way they never had it in the past. It's a gesture of goodwill, it's a gesture of giving back to community, and
Mhm.
it's also giving them more in the time of difficult situation. Um, in the past, the tennis players were able to play only when there was a good light, good weather, good temperature, no rain situation. If it was too hot, they couldn't play. If it was rainy, they couldn't play. If it was too dark, they couldn't play. Bad light, they couldn't play. In coming months, we are trying to allow them an access to things which they never had in that manner at MTC. And we want to do that because we want to first promote tennis among people so they can come back to play more. Second, give them a chance to get to know MTC not only as an institution which has financial relationship only and tennis, but other side of it. And third, allow people a chance to get fit and go out and about and be safe and not be worried about it. So those procedures are in a place. All of our customers who are in our database will receive those news in a day or two or few days when it's finalized. And we are looking forward to the next phase and a place where people can have fun, play tennis, stay fit, and and slowly we are one of those steps they take to finding normalcy as we knew.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Chintan. We are going to wrap up because we're almost approaching the hour mark. So we're going to go ahead and do the 2 truths and a lie.
Oh.
So I'm going to let Anna try to guess this one.
All right.
Okay. English is my 3rd language, is the first one.
Hmm. Okay.
Started playing tennis at 17.
That's super late. Okay.
Was full support of my tennis career and approved of my marriage to my wife. So hope we didn't give too much away. So Anna, what do you think?
I think I know which one it is. I am going to guess. Well, it's kind of not fair because I know Chintan for maybe like a few months now, and I feel like we've spoken about these things. Maybe not so much the first one, but my guess is number 3 is the lie. Family in full support of my tennis career and approval of my marriage to my wife. I call that one the lie.
She's right. They said that the lie detectors never worked in Russia. So,
Unless it involves vodka.
so but thank you for having me, guys. Hope you found a little bit more about me, and looking forward to see you guys. And move forward, upward, and forward is the only way. Journey is beautiful. So I wish you guys you can join me as long as you can, and we'll see you around soon. Okay.
Yes, no problem. We greatly appreciate you being on here. We can catch him more information at McCarran Tennis Center on the website and Chintan Trivedi.com. Again, follow McCarran Tennis Center on Instagram, and you can also follow us on Facebook as well. Guys, we'll see you on Sunday. We're not going to reveal our next guest, so quite yet, but we'll be in touch soon. So take care, everyone. I'll see you.
Thank you for having me, guys.